Gotta go and kill him, and I gotta be the kid. I could be the guy taking you wild. I could be the villain, but good as a kid. Lately I'm pain on my back on my way. Yeah, I got no time that I can wait, so I've been sitting in this place. Yeah, making rest every day, man. You know that I go insane. Yeah, touching with the bullet to the brain. Gotta stop first if we go and you go in the sun.
Welcome back to my channel, Legends. Man, am I excited to bring you this. Is Gibraltar's gun shield finally getting a nerf? Well, I believe it is. Also, is a Lifeline rework in the works for Season 8? All this and more. Before we get into the video, please make sure you like the video. I mean, can we get a video to 5 likes? That'd be awesome. Also, if you're going to dislike it, all I've got to say is karma. If you know what I'm talking about, karma. So don't even think about it. We all know that Gibraltar is one of the strongest characters currently in Apex Legends. So I'm sorry, Gibraltar mains, but for Season 8, you're getting nerfed. So this is what's going to be happening with Gibraltar, and it all revolves around his gun shield. Now, disclaimer, this nerf is not going to be out at the beginning of Season 8. So we'll get into that in a second. So here's what's happening. Gibraltar's gun shield, what normally happens with his gun shield is it obviously takes damage. But what a lot of people have complained about is that it doesn't allow for bleed through damage. So one of the best examples that I have read, or an easy way to explain it, is if you're shooting a Gibraltar and let's say he has one health point left on that shield, right? With that, if you hit him for 50, let's say you hit him with a sniper shot or something like that. Let's say you hit him for 50 damage. Because he's got that one health point left on his shield, the rest of that damage doesn't bleed through to his bank of, to his normal health. So it almost makes it like you didn't even really hit him because his now gun shield has eaten up your shot. So that is really what is this nerf or this rework for Gibraltar that they're talking about. And it's going to be that bleed through damage. So, I mean, that's the easiest way to explain it. It just doesn't transfer that damage over. I know a lot of people who, use the Kraber late game. You know who you are. You get super annoyed when you hit a Gibraltar in the gun shield. And basically you've done nothing except, take down his gun shield. So that shot hasn't transferred that damage to his health pool. So
weak, dude.
That is what the big kind of news here is with that. So this is this is something that people have been calling for a long time, to let that gun shield take bleed through damage, because he is such a hard character to take down. I mean, we all know this. He is such a pain to fight. Now, granted, he's a big legend. He's a big boy. He's out there. But he's a very, very strong character. And if you are a very skilled player with a Gibraltar, I mean, that dude is a tank. And he sucks up that damage. And that gun shield, I mean, also, I think it only takes one shield cell to recharge that sucker. So, this is a good step in the right directions for Apex Legends. He is one of the most controversial characters, and I believe, like I said, this is a step in the right direction. I think that more needs to be done with him still. I still have a couple ideas that I like to see, but again, this is a minor detail, and it is going to be addressed. And it was also confirmed by Jay, I believe it's Jay Beebs, who is a balance designer for Respawn. So, I mean, if you want to read through some of his Reddit stuff, I mean, I can read it for you. So there's another rework that involves his gun shield as well, and I guess I'll just read it to you. So he's got a meaningful tweak to the gun shield, and this has to do it. It missed the cutoff for next week's patch, which is going to be Season 8. So like I said, it's not going to be live at the beginning of Season 8. It's probably going to come a little bit later into Season 8. So you've got bleed through and damage counting towards stats / Evo to mitigate some of the shield economy difference and poking engagements tends to give. Now what this means is, if you've probably been hitting his gun shield and you've got, obviously we all have Evo shields now, it's not counting towards your stats to leveling up that Evo. So that's the other part of this change that's in there. that if you're just poking damage from a distance and you're trying to, as you're trying to level up your shield, now that this is going to count towards that. So that's another helpful thing, especially, maybe you're not far from a red Evo, or maybe you're not far from, you're going from a blue to a perp, and you guys are having a fight at a distance. This is going to be one of those things that helps you out. So again, good rework. I think it's a good step in the right directions with Gibraltar and kind of bringing him back down just a little bit. I'm still going to say that he's very, very strong for many reasons. So, but that's what we're looking at. Apparently they had encountered some bugs when they were tweaking this, so they're not able to push it out. It didn't make it into the patch for the new season that's coming out. But that's where it stands as of right now with his gun shield. So, that's the best way that I can explain it with the bleed through damage. So, other than that, you have now, let's talk about Lifeline. So, Lifeline, anyone who's been playing the game kind of has seen like the progression of Lifeline. Now you know that, you can pick up a squad mate goes down, you can pick it up, it puts up the shield, and you can still fight. A lot of people have found this kind of annoying at times because you can kind of keep picking that person up, and it actually makes it's a real annoyance to fight a team with a Lifeline. It's very hard sometimes, especially smart players. And if she has a gold bag, forget about it. It's a pain too. But it can be very annoying because there's nothing worse, especially late game, when you're getting those kills and stuff, and then you see that Lifeline pop out of nowhere and she picks them up and you're like, oh man. Because now you got to figure out how you're going to push or what you're going to do because they've got that shield. She's got that shield that goes up. So what they're trying to figure out what they want to do with her. So I can read you the same guy in the same post, the JBeebs guy, he talks about and I'll just read it to you. So again, this isn't coming at the beginning of season 8, and this is still in the works that they're looking at and trying to figure out what they're going to do with her. So nothing at the start of the season for Lifeline, but we are exploring options to reduce some frustrations surrounding her passive. Taking some power from that and giving it to her underwhelming ultimate is what we're looking at in particular. We didn't want to act too hastily in nerfing the combat utility part of her kit without giving her a bump elsewhere. The other aspect is the communication. Let's say we add a cooldown to it. How do you best communicate on its cooldown to the Lifeline, the down teammate, and the enemy? That requires testing, getting feedback on what feels right. So, did want to let you know, we are working on reducing that Lifeline frustration without discouraging people from using her. So, that's what we're talking about with Lifeline, is figuring out how to kind of make her a little bit less annoying or frustrating to fight against while still making her a useful legend and making her still viable. So I think that's actually a great idea because I have found this super annoying. It's like I said, nothing is more frustrating when you down someone and bam, they're right back up from a Lifeline, especially late game when there's gold bags around. It's very hard to combat that, because you've already kind of you might have downed that person, but you've already taken the damage to do that. And now they're up, they've got protection, and it just kind of changes the terms of the gunfight at some level. And there's nothing wrong with that. You pick who you want to play, and that's, you're rewarded based on sometimes who you pick in certain situations. So they're just trying to make sure it just doesn't become too overpowered. So I'm assuming that they're going to do so again with her care package. I wouldn't be surprised. You know how she gives out like 2 cells and maybe like a syringe or something like that. Maybe they put batteries in there or something, or maybe there's more of a chance that you're getting purples. So purple shields, even though those come pretty decently, maybe they up that earlier game. Who knows what they're going to do? But those are 2 of the big reworks that they're looking at for season 8. And like I said, this Gibraltar one, I couldn't be more happy about. And it's really going to help when you're facing the one-on-one gunfights with him and that gun shield, because man, that thing comes in, that, forget about it. You better not miss shots. The other thing that I actually saw them talking about, which I found really interesting, was I don't remember where I saw it, but they had talked about it. I think maybe one of the lead designers, if he could go back and do it all again with Apex Legends, they would all find a way to keep the hitboxes the same, because they've created more work for themselves by having all these varying hitboxes. Wraith is smaller, Gibraltar is bigger, and he actually talks about in this that you're going to not, if you haven't already noticed, is you're not going to see bigger legends coming to the arena. So some of like the big boys like Gibraltar and Caustic, that's kind of gone away, and that's going to be the foreseeable future, you know, because those guys are fortified. They also are just have some of the most powerful ultimates abilities. Caustic, I mean, just spawns gas traps like it's nobody's business. The Dome Shield isn't as strong, but where it is strong is, and it comes in as, you know, you've got the fast healing perk in there. You can pick people up a little bit faster. You know, you kind of set up for a fight. You have bubble fights, all those little things. But I just thought it was interesting that the lead designer is they have moved kind of away from having those bigger characters. And I think that's a smart move. And he even talks about if he could slim them down without making like the skins and stuff look goofy, you know, that's what they would do. And I think that that's actually a great thing, is to kind of scale them back a little bit, maybe take some of that fortification away, you know, make them a little bit slimmer, so you kind of move them in line with other characters. But it's really hard to do. It's going to be really hard to put them all on an even level playing field now, especially where they're at in the state of the game. So, I mean, who knows what can happen in the future. I think it might be something they've talked about or might even look at, but we'll see. But that's what the news that we've got so far. People are letting me know that they're excited about it as well, because my phone just went off, so they know what it's about. Please feel free to leave your comments down below. Make sure to like the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you in the next one.